Right, this is a continuation of my security for when you're browsing online. And again, I mentioned in the first video specifically about my browser recommendations that there are many components when you are browsing, such as your browser, the connection, your internet service provider, extensions, browser features, your search engine, and your behavior. So this video is about security and privacy with your browser extensions. Remember, this is a series, so this is just one of those many components. Now, a common mistake that a lot of people make is they want to be as secure and private as possible, so they install as many extensions they think that are privacy and security based. That is a mistake. Think of it this way. If you go to a protest, it's recommended often that you wear all black, and you wear a mask and a hat, all black. There are many reasons for this, but a big one is so the authorities can't pick you out and find you in a crowd, so that you do not stand out amongst everybody else. You don't want to be too distinct with your browser either. Say you install 48 security and privacy focused extensions. But the thing is, now you've left a very distinct fingerprint of a browser that uses 48 very specific kinds of extensions, because it is highly likely that other people aren't using the same exact 48 extensions. When there is the scraping of metadata, it is possible to lead your searches, lead your browser behavior back to you, the one that uses 48 of these extensions. Additionally, having a bunch of extensions that you don't necessarily need can slow your browser down. Installing certain or too many extensions can stop sites from functioning correctly. For instance, a form might stop working, a button might not click anymore, or some of the content won't load correctly. So get familiar with turning extensions on and off as needed. And the more extensions you have, the more portals to possible vulnerabilities. So just some tips. First of all, when you do download an extension, make sure it is very well vetted. Look at how many people downloaded it, when it was last updated, look into the creator, look at the ratings, read the reviews, really go into and dig into each extension to make sure that it is legit. Because some people create extensions solely to exploit you. And yeah, if you're using not a great browser like Chrome, you can see my previous post on which ones I actually do recommend, and it's not Chrome as a browser, then you did need a lot of extensions because it just wasn't great at privacy and security. So here are some of my recommendations for extensions. Again, always do your own research. I would say 5 extensions max is great. Any more than that, then you're kind of getting into that very unique fingerprint territory. That doesn't mean you shouldn't go above 5, but just keep that in mind when you are browsing. Some extensions that I recommend currently, remember these are always changing, so I'll try to always update, are the following. uBlock Origin to help block ads, trackers, malware, minors, pop-ups, sus sites, and more. There are a few that used to be really good that you'll hear people mention, such as Privacy Badger, Ghostery, Cookie Auto Delete, HTTPS Everywhere, etc. But good update browsers recently have incorporated all of those into their system, so you don't need extensions specifically for those on top of what you already have as a browser. uBlock Origin and an updated browser with safer settings will make all of those redundant. The second extension that I would recommend is one for your favorite password manager. And finally, another one that I would recommend is a multi-account container or a temporary container. That's an extension that can help you separate your browsing activities depending on what content or what uses you might have. So for instance, you can have a work one, a personal one, or one just for when you're browsing social media, shopping, etc. Containers. As with my browser recs, there are always more secure options, but I'm going based on who I believe my audience is, and I believe most folks don't want to tinker once you've installed. Okay, those are my initial recommendations for right now. As I mentioned before, do your own research. And of course, you can have more or less, but just remember that every time you add more and more and more, your browser signature becomes more and more unique. More in this series soon about browser security and everything that surrounds it. Stay safe out there, y'all.